coming to terms with something, with a relationship, a situation, an experience. What does it mean to fully come to terms and equalise something in your mind, heart? Well, it means that you have no need to deal with that specific information. So, not tying up loose ends in your reasoning and in your imagination. Not holding anyone, including yourself, responsible for anything. No longer demanding any sense of accountability, and stopping, re-investigating to see whether you could be, should be, will be more accountable. It means holding the experience, the relationship in your hand, and being able to acknowledge that this is what it is and nothing more. Everybody's always doing their best. What will be, will be. We only need to just step forward in our full glory, which is outside of any character assignments that might have happened. The human being design has been used against us to keep us in time loops and re-traumatizing ourselves over and over again by going back to places we think we can't heal from. Because everything that happens now, going forward. There's a particular story, a character we are over familiar with, and that is a mashup of all these different roles we've played in life, all these different people that we have been for particular reasons, but it's all a charade. Who we are is who we are when no one's watching. Coming to terms with who we think we are is probably the most difficult. Because if people have hurt you, you can find a quiet enough corner for long enough if you really want to forget about people. But you can't forget about yourself. It is softening towards ourselves, which is absolutely necessary, otherwise we're just stuck in self-sabotage cycles. If we can forgive ourselves, we can forgive anybody. I think that's the point. Humans know the codes, they know the keys somewhere. But most of us have got our upper limits. I always wonder what Meatloaf meant when he sang that song. I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. People typically don't go above and beyond in the name of love. And that's not to say they don't extend themselves, offer themselves to the world, but for the most part that seems to be martyrdom, self-righteousness. So we refuse to forgive ourselves because as a bonus we get to hold on to a lot of anger, hurt, hatred, bitterness and resentment towards other people, which takes the heat off how much we have come to hate ourselves. And I don't mean actively. Hate is a very passive process. We can be invisible in this world. It's easy. You just have to retreat inside far enough. Even when you're out and about, you can be in the world but not of it. The difficulty is wanting to be visible again after you understand the power of invisibility in a world with wonky eyes. But it's time for us to be seen now. We can only be seen by that which we see. That's why there are a lot of humans on this planet thinking that they're doing good, battling against the forces of evil. But the more they investigate, the more vulnerable and susceptible to that very same thing they become. And the more resistance, the more attacks from this force of evil, the more justified you're fighting against it seems, right? And the more special you feel as a human being, but it's all coming from within. Like this idea of elite people with an inordinate amount of power and influence. Well, that's what the world needs. If you can't beat them, join them. And anybody who thinks that absolute power corrupts absolutely and that no human is safe enough and we better all just stay in poverty, digging around in the gutter, sharing our handfuls of dirt with each other, well, I don't agree. Come to terms with the life that you have lived in order to allow yourself the life that you desire, deserve, unencumbered peace, doing what you love, present moment, attendance. We could probably do with reshaping the way that we speak. Because if instead of good and evil, we saw conscious or not, even the darkest forces of evil on this earth have been dreamt up by us purposefully to highlight something. It's just the shadow of what we know to be true. The complete opposite. So we have to come to terms with that as well, rather than thinking we've got to go digging or exposing or exploring. Or if you set off on a quest to find proof of evil, you won't have to walk far. And the same goes for love. My nan made me laugh once. She came in from the shops and she said, the strangest things just happened to me. A man looked at me and said good morning, and I didn't even know him. See how what is real and true and substantial is threatening to the status quo, to how things have been. People just have become defeatist, nihilistic, and if they're lucky, hedonistic, because at least they're getting some enjoyment out of it. And some people get enjoyment out of their sorrow, misery. But the human experience is one of feeling. And eventually, feelings lead us to conclusions. And conclusions lead us to change. Come to terms with how well each and every one of us has done just to be breathing, keeping our eyes open. It's a jungle out there. Come to terms with how unbounding love is, endless, you know, God's love for us, for all of us, regardless of what has happened to us or through us. I love you.